What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another one. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about a possible PlayStation showcase, state of play, or event that might potentially be happening, or so people are led to believe, in December. And so, not too far away from here. This is something that people have been talking about quite a bit over the past couple of weeks. We know that right now, it's the PlayStation 30th anniversary, although the actual 30th anniversary doesn't start until December 3rd to be exact. We know currently PlayStation have already done a few things to celebrate the anniversary, the first one being Astro Bot, being this kind of culmination of PlayStation history chucked into a platformer. It's very much its own thing, of course, but it definitely is a 30th anniversary project. The other one here is the 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 Pro and Slim, as well as limited edition controllers. PlayStation recently revealed a new version of Gran Turismo 7 known as My First Gran Turismo. It's basically going to be a free-to-play version of Gran Turismo 7. PlayStation have also been releasing digital soundtracks over on Spotify, and there's some other smaller things that are going on. But at the bottom of the 30th anniversary blog post, it does mention that these upcoming activities and releases are just a taste of what's to come. Be on the lookout for more announcements in the near future. Now, the reason why a lot of people are led to believe that a big showcase might be happening with games, with actual content, is because of this live-action, high-budget ad that PlayStation dropped about 2 weeks back. And within the ad, you can see a date clearly stating the 3rd of December 2024. So as the internet does, they jumped over to social media and started talking about the theory. The theory being, is PlayStation teasing an event for the 3rd of December to celebrate the 30th anniversary with a showcase? After all, if we look back to the 25th anniversary of PlayStation, there was a special state of play in December to mark the 25th anniversary where there was a bunch of new content revealed. Now, I see it being pretty viable. After all, 30 years is a bigger milestone than 25, but I do feel like the date that's shown in the trailer is just stating that this is the anniversary day for PlayStation. However, a pretty reputable insider and video game analyst, Bill Kun, recently mentioned that apparently there is some fresh news coming for PlayStation. Stay tuned. They don't know if an event is actually happening, but apparently a lot of PlayStation stuff is happening behind the scenes. Another video game analyst over on Twitter has also made some pretty big claims. Now, I don't know the credibility here of William, but basically he's saying that there is going to be an event in December, though he doesn't know if it is actually going to be the 3rd. He also says here that it's possible this celebration event could be integrated into the Game Awards, but he is certain that there is going to be some type of PlayStation 30th anniversary event where PlayStation will reveal new game announcements. As it always goes though, take any of this type of stuff with the most minute speck of salt. But the big takeaway from his information here is Sony's focus on classic games and how this event will have a focus on bringing back classic IPs along with sequels to these, remasters, and remakes. And apparently this is from multiple generations spanning from PS1 to PS2 to PS3. Sony has had a huge focus on classics, building up the classics catalog over on the PlayStation Store, and they've been doing a pretty good job of that. It would certainly make sense to have some type of announcement within the realm of classic IP for a 30th anniversary. One rumor that I have seen floating around quite a bit recently is God of War, basically the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable games remastered. And in fact, it is rumored that Nixes, who are responsible for a lot of the PC ports of PlayStation first-party games, are apparently working on a remaster of those games. And I can't imagine that Sony would, rather than just emulating these games and chucking them up onto the PlayStation Store like most of their classics, they would actually do a proper remaster. You know, that way they can justify charging full price for it. If this information is true though, a focus on classic IP reveals would be great, just considering that there is still a large amount of classics that still haven't either been remastered or have come to the classics catalog via emulation. No idea what this means though either, because this is very broad in the sense of classics being either sequels, remasters, remakes. Like, are Sony looking at potentially bringing back maybe Jak and Daxter, and maybe getting another studio to work on that IP rather than Naughty Dog focusing on their own new thing? That is the dream outcome right there. And also, it's been far too long, but something needs to happen with PlayStation 3 games. There are still so many PS3 first-party Sony games that haven't received a remaster or a re-release of any kind whatsoever, and PS3 backwards compatibility, or just seeing those games return, has been in high demand since the PlayStation 4 gen. It was also mentioned in May of this year by Tom Henderson, another reputable figure in the gaming insider world, that PlayStation will be holding a showcase towards the end of the year. So there are some things out there that might suggest that a PlayStation showcase is going to happen for the 30th anniversary, and the timing does ultimately make sense because, for one, it is the 30th anniversary, but two, we are now at the halfway point, in fact, over the halfway point of this console generation. And one of the biggest memes within the gaming space is that PlayStation has no games. Now, this is primarily in regards to PlayStation 5 exclusive titles, but if we are comparing the specific console exclusive titles that have released on PlayStation 5 compared to previous PlayStation gens like PS3 or PS4, yeah, there's certainly less of them. Development times and development costs have increased quite a bit though since those generations, so understandably it makes sense. However, the halfway point of console generations is an exciting time because it's at this stage where we start getting the real heavy hitters designed specifically for the hardware. Developers have had more than enough time to learn what the PlayStation 5 is capable of, and everything that they've been working on since the PlayStation 5 first launch, we should be gearing up towards actually seeing a reveal and whenabouts these big games that have been worked on behind the scenes are finally going to release. It has been mentioned by Shinobi that in 2025, PlayStation are going to be revealing a bunch of games, some of the big heavy hitters that their first party studios have been working on. It's perfect timing too because the PS5 Pro just dropped. People are eager to have games that actually harness the power of that system. So at some point soon, Sony will actually have to start giving people a good reason as to why they should pick up a PlayStation 5 Pro. Right now for 2025, the only big first-party game that we can absolutely expect for PS5 is coming from Sucker Punch, and that is the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei. But we do know that for the likes of Insomniac, they are currently working on Wolverine. We should hear about that sometime soon. It was teased, I believe, 2 years ago now. We know that Naughty Dog have been working on their brand new project since 2020. Guerrilla Games are apparently working on multiple different Horizon-related things, because of course they are, but notably a Horizon MMO, along with even Bluepoint apparently working on something completely original, something completely new, outside of a remake. But yeah, the PlayStation first-party studios have been incredibly quiet, and we should start to hear about their projects very shortly. What better way to do that than an event at the end of 2024, leading into 2025. Don't forget though, we've also got the Game Awards happening on the 12th of December. This is usually our last stop in the year for new video game announcements. So no doubt there is going to be something there from PlayStation, and whether that be a gameplay look at Ghost of Yotei or something completely new, fingers crossed it is something completely new. We're kind of in need of it. But if PlayStation truly do have all of this content being worked on behind the scenes, then I can imagine something like a 30th anniversary showcase or state of play being the right place to sort of announce where we're going with the system next and what's to come. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next coming weeks. Nothing has been set in concrete from PlayStation themselves. All we know at this point is there are more things coming to celebrate the 30th anniversary, and as the days go by, more announcements and reveals will be happening. Maybe one of the last announcements leading up to December 3rd will be that of a showcase. However, though, we won't have to wait too much longer. December is here next week, so only time will tell. However, guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Be sure to drop a like, that helps me out a lot. Subscribe to the channel to keep up with everything going on here. A big thank you to my wonderful Turkey-tastic patrons. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll talk real soon.